What is going on, my friends, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Well, over the last few weeks, we've been looking out for this breakout from Solana that we have been seeing different identifiers and signs of. And I do believe that this breakout is coming this week, and so I wanted to take today's video to make sure that you are as prepared as possible to see some gains to the top side or the bottom side, as I do believe that this move will again happen very, very soon. So let's not waste any time at all, and let's get straight into today's video. Now, just a little bit of a preface before I do get into Solana. Do understand that the whole altcoin market, crypto market in general, is moving based off of Bitcoin. So make sure that although I am focusing on Solana specifically today, that you are still doing your Bitcoin technical analysis as well, because this is what is driving the market. Solana is not moving on its own, okay? Just a little bit of a preface there. But with that said, let's talk about what Solana is doing and exactly how I'm going about it in order to see gains, whether this thing breaks up or it breaks down. So let's start off with the downside. Let's talk about if it does finally break to the downside of this triangle that we've been tracking over the last couple of days and the last couple of weeks. Well, it's a very easy thing to do, and I love triangles of this nature, especially rising triangles in bear markets. Whenever we're in a downtrend, we go into a rising triangle because they become very easy to predict where they're going to go. I mean, it's almost every single time they do the same exact thing, okay? So what I'm on the lookout for from Solana is a break right now, currently sitting right around $34.05. If we get a daily close or even multiple 4-hour closes below that level of 34.5, I am going to say that this thing has very likely broken to the downside, and we can start to expect our downside price targets to get hit. Now, whenever you have a triangle of this nature, your breakdown targets are easy to find. All you're going to do is take the support that was previously established on the bottom side of the triangle, and those are your breakdown targets. Almost every single time I have seen a macro triangle form of this nature, when we have broken to the downside, we have broken towards the level in which we had previously touched the bottom of the triangle. That's your support level. So the way in which I go about it is saying, okay, well, if we start to get daily closes below this level, right, we lose this little level of support that we have right here. As you can see, let's go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. As you can see, we have held this little level, this 35.5 level of support on multiple occasions before we did eventually break to the upside here. So if we do start coming back down below this, we lose $35 and we get daily closes here, I'm actually going to open up a short trade with the breakdown target sitting right around this little area between $32 and $30. I think this is the most extremely likely place in which the price will go to first and foremost before it sees a bounce of any nature. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to draw this and we're going to make this our little red zone. Okay, now the reason I'm making it a zone instead of just a very individual line is due to the fact that we got so many wicks here, right? If you look at this level of support, we wicked and wicked and wicked and wicked and wicked, and this little zone is where all of the bulls were stepping in every single time the price came down here. So I do believe that it's not definitely going to be $30.90. I think it's going to be between 32.7 and 30.9, in which we will see a bounce. And so for that reason, I'm actually going to be shorting Solana down to that price. So if it does say break to, let's call it $34.05, and we get a drive all the way down to the first step of the zone, that can be anywhere between 6% to up to 11% in gains. Personally speaking, while we have been in a bear market, I've been doing 2.5 to 3x leverage on every trade. So again, that could be anywhere from 15 to up to 25% in gains that I'm seeing from taking on a short trade of this nature. I believe that this is one of the most surefire ways to see a little bit of gains even in a bear market is taking on short trades from support level to support level, and this is exactly what I would be doing. Now, obviously, in the case in which we do see the price break down below that point, we do have another breakdown target back towards 25.95, but let's not worry about this one too much until we do see what happens over here at this key support level. Now, there could be many reasons this happens, right? We, of course, do see that we are seeing a little bit of bearish divergence here on the price, in which we are seeing the overall market still continuing to trend downwards, but the daily RSI is trending upwards. You mix that in with the fact that we do have inflation data coming out just within the next 50 hours or so. That is also another catalyst that could push the price of crypto, not just Solana, but crypto in general down, which could get us down here. But one way or another, I do believe this is the level in which we will visit. And for that reason, I am preparing a short trade to take on possibly 15 to 25% in gains. Now, if at any given point we do break down to the downside here, But then we get back and we break back above $35, right? We do something like this. I may consider closing the short trade because at that point we could start to go into a, venture into a weird little possible uptrend here. And I don't really want to take on a short trade while we may possibly see a strong break to the upside. So once we break 35.5 or 35, $35, that's the level that I would also close that short trade out at again. Now, under the circumstances in which we do break to the upside, because it is a possibility, let's talk about what that would, what would that look like? Well, for me, let's just get rid of these for now. So for me personally, what I would be on the lookout for is still the clearing of $42.64. Now, I know we have this symmetrical triangle, or this rising triangle, and I know we have this key level of resistance here. But if you erase that, one thing you can see is that we are still working on this possible inverse, something of an inverse head and shoulders, but more likely the cup and handle Adam and Eve pattern that everyone, of course, talks about in bear markets. Now, what that means is that we have two key levels of resistance followed by a low and then a higher low, okay? Now, whenever we have that low and the higher low, the target is to always get back to put in a third point of resistance at where these previous two resistance points were, okay? That gives you the cup. Let's go ahead and just erase this for now. That gives you this cup. That gives you the handle. So if at any given point we do break above 42.64, that means that we have now broken from above the cup line, which is almost always going to lead to at least a short-term reversal, which does look like us possibly pushing back up towards anywhere between, honestly, I think we could very possibly see the high 50s to maybe even the low 60 range, okay? So realistically, even if we do start to break to the upside of this triangle here, as we were identifying earlier, I would still be looking for us to break $42.64 because that would be the level that does confirm the breakout of this structure, and structural breakouts are always much more important for me. In my opinion, of course, in this one, the structural technical target would still be looking somewhere around, roughly $70, which could be some type of gain of roughly 60+%. I would say that's a little bit pushing it, especially in this market. I'm not that confident that we would get that high, but I do think it would be a bullish catalyst to say that we could at least see some type of short-term pump to the upside before starting to go back into flatness or continuation to the downside here, okay? So I think 42.64 is the point that breaks us out and gets us some strong momentum to the upside here, especially if we do see some great news tomorrow with inflation data. Maybe Bitcoin starts to break 22,000. All of those catalysts would need to happen for us to start to make this very strong move up here to the upside, okay? So overall, it's a very easy formula right now. It's not one that is going to take too much explaining. If we break to the downside of the triangle, look for us to go to $32.7 to $30.9. That is where I'm entering in on my short trade. Entering in around $34.5 to $35. And again, this is the breakdown target I would be looking for. If we do break to the upside here, still look for us to break $42.64. If we do that, I will be going long a little bit. I'll be, accumulating just a bit because I think at least a short-term pump to the upside would be very likely, especially as we are starting to see that weekly MACD possibly crossing bullish within the next couple weeks here, okay? So this could be a strong catalyst as well. And so for all of those reasons, I definitely would be wanting to go long and accumulate a bit, especially if we can get anywhere from 30 to 40% in gains, okay? So that's about it for Solana today. I usually like to give you, videos like this. I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you, oh, it's going to go up or it's going to go down. I don't know what inflation data is going to say tomorrow, and I don't know what that's going to do to the market. My goal here is to not tell you what's going to happen, but prepare you for what's going to happen. Whatever option, whatever does play out, you are prepared, as prepared as possible to make sure we are taking advantage of gains in this market. We've been 6 for 6 in our last 6 short trades over on Bitcoin. Of course, I have been doing those in the Patreon and letting you know what I'm doing on the channel, and I do intend to go 7 for 7 if Solana does break down. So stay tuned, pay attention to that trade, and of course let me know if you yourself are interested or you have your own trade setups going on. Now before I do go ahead and wrap up this video, I did see your comments over in the last video in which I was kind of talking about a microcap crypto. I told you guys that I liked it, but in times like these, I'm not going super heavy into microcaps unless they have a lot of utility and are continuing to develop within this market. Now many of you are asking me, along the lines of, well, what type of cryptos are you looking for? Like what type of utility development are you looking for, or what are some examples so you could go do your own research? And I brought back one crypto that we have talked about multiple times on the channel. You guys know I've partnered with them for months on months, and that is Wayu. Now I wanted to just use them as an example of a crypto that is continuously developing even in a time where their price may not be doing good or the market itself is not doing good. So as we can see here, realistically, since April, since the end of April to the beginning of May, Wayu has been very, very flat in price. Not too high, not too too low, okay? But since then, they have still continuously been developing their ecosystem, which I do believe is going to allow them to see growth coming out of this bear market. And this is what I'm talking about. So what we can see is that they've come out with Wayu rewards. Now, what Wayu rewards is a way in which you can add liquidity, you can stake LP and farm, you yield farm, in order to receive passive income even through a time like this. Now, we know this isn't a new concept, but it is a concept that I think has brought loads of utility to many other ecosystems. And considering the fact that they now have their launchpad, they have their earning platform in which you can earn passive income, and now you also saw the NFT pieces, I do think this is just another great addition to the overall platform to enable users to continuously figure out ways to make money through Wayu. So I think this is a very good addition to the platform itself. So as you can see, currently what you can go ahead and do is you can stake your Wayu tokens and you can earn an award or a yearly APY of 300%. Now, one thing we know is that as these platforms do launch, the yields are much, much higher, and as they do start to grow in popularity, they will almost always come down. I know right now that big yields are something that a lot of people are super sketched out by, but again, I do believe this large percentage just to be due to the fact that they're not having a load of staking happening just yet. But over time, I do believe as this does grow, that yield will likely start to come down a bit to a much more sustainable and realistic level, and then at that point, we can really start to see where it balances out at. But overall, it does seem to be a very, very easy process. You just connect your wallet to the website. You go ahead and let them know how much you want to stake, and that will then immediately start to stake it for you. And then the unstaking process is just as simple. You type in how much you want to unstake, and then that will allow you to unstake it, but it does take 5 days to do so. So overall, I believe this is a fantastic addition to their platform, and I think it's a great example of the type of microcaps that I am looking for during a time like this. I don't want the ones that are just going to say, well, we're going to wait for the bear market to end. I don't want the ones that are just going to say, okay, well, we're just going to slow down development because realistically no one's excited. No, I want to see those cryptos that are still continuously developing over time, because those are the ones that build up a strong foundation to survive things of this nature. Okay, so with that said, I just wanted to give you an example. All of my videos are really focused on top cryptos, and that is where my major focus is, but I don't want to ignore you know, those viewers who do still look for microcaps in those little lottery tickets, even in a time like this, right? So with that said, that's going to be about it for today's video. Of course, I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, you can always let me know simply by smashing that like button and subscribing to the channel if you are new. And I will see you all next time. Peace.